the Starlight Lounge presents An Evening with the Progressive Box.
Old moon, yeah. That's Hugo, tickling the ivories. He just saved by bundling home and auto with Progressive. Gonna finally buy a ring for that gal of yours, Hugo? Send her my condolences. Hi-oh! This next one's for you two. There's a burglar in my heart. Thank you.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discounts not available in all states or situations.
World War Now. Actually, what we're talking about is World War Hulk. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Source Material Podcast, and I am not Jesse Starcher. No, he is away doing Jesse Starcher things. Actually, he had a personal situation that he needed to attend to. For those of you that tuned into our last Wednesday's Metal Hammer of Doom, he had to cut out pretty quickly at the end. So he'll talk about it, and when he's ready to talk about it, I'm not going to talk about personal Jesse Starcher things without him being here. But that being said, I am taking over for tonight. I am taking over the Source Material Podcast, but I am not alone. I am here with Chris Bailey. Chris Bailey. How you doing, Chris Bailey?
You son of a bitch. I knew it was coming. I am doing well, sir. Thank you for having me. And, hey, Jesse, we're all thinking about you, sir. And you know what? I'm live, Live, live here from Canada, Newfoundland, where Alpha Flight still sucks, my friend.
All right. Well, like I said, we had to do some switching around on the calendar, and we're talking about World War Hulk.
It's a good one.
Which was the comic book crossover storyline, ran for about 5 issues, if I recall. And it was the finale to the year-long Planet Hulk storyline, wherein the Illuminati, featuring Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Black Panther, Black Bolt, and Mr. Fantastic, shipped the Hulk into space, where he was supposed to land on a planet without any kind of real civilization, just lush forests, green trees, plenty of game for him to hunt, and there he could not hurt humanity anymore. But of course, the Hulk heard this and went plumb crazy, just lost his marbles, ladies and gentlemen, and he wrecked the ship, and so it sent it off course, and he landed on Sakaar. Sakaar, made famous by the Marvel movie Thor Ragnarok. Also, they made a cartoon out of this. It was the Planet Hulk cartoon, which is actually a pretty fair adaptation of the comic. But so this was Greg Pak, and this was a year-long story that ended with the Hulk conquering the planet and becoming king. But more importantly, he took a queen, and they had a child, or at least she was pregnant with a child, and he had loyal people to him, and everything was right in the Hulk's world. And so they blew it up. They blew it up, those bastards. So the Hulk thinks that it was made to believe that this had been the plan all along by the Illuminati and that they lied to him. They lied to him, Chris Bailey.
They did, those bastards. It's just, I mean, the planet blew up just like Vince McMahon in the limo, brother. It was not a good situation. The Hulk is pissed off, and guess where he's headed? He's headed to Earth, brother.
He is headed to Earth with a left turn at Albuquerque and the moon.
He's headed straight to the main event in MSG, literally.
Yes, quite literally. Yeah, so, but in all seriousness, so yeah, they blew up the planet. The ship blows up. It then takes out the planet, which then takes out the Queen and his unborn child, at least for the time being. We'll get to that later. And so he and the Warbound head back to Earth with a quick stop on the moon, and he is out for revenge. And this is pure, unadulterated Hulk smash.
Yes, sir.
World War Hulk is 5 issues of the Hulk just tearing shit up. And so if you're a big Hulk fan and you just want, and all you want is for Hulk to just fuck shit up, like he's in a mosh pit, then boy, is this the story for you. But I've done way too much talking so far, so let me turn it over to you, Chris Bailey. Did you read this when it was contemporary in 2007?
Indeed I did. I don't think it had the same emotional reverence that it did with me reading it right now with my curmudgeon-y views on Marvel, because I guarantee you, looking back at this right now, this is a battle royal of ass-kicking, sir. So if you want to take your frustrations out of Marvel, take a look at World War Hulk, man, because justice is served with a mighty green fist, my friend.
Tell me your thoughts on the Hulk. Where does in your top 5 is he in there? Do you like the character? Did you read much of his books?
Back in the day, so I read a lot of 80s Hulk, of course, growing up and all that stuff. I jumped on the Peter David run. Of course, everybody seems to have a fascination with that. Even Burns' run back in the day when they split the Hulk and Banner and did some crazy stuff with that, was pretty good. But as a character, especially when it came to Marvel now and the different spin-offs they did, Hulk sort of got lost in the shuffle for me. But reading this again, this really brought Hulk back home for me, and this is the Hulk that I love. Planet Hulk was an amazing, foray for the Hulk. So I think Planet Hulk, World War Hulk, this is the best of Hulk that I've seen since my youth growing up, man. This is legendary.
So there's lots of different versions of the Hulk. Now, this is sort of... this isn't Smart Hulk per se, but this isn't necessarily like Baby Hulk smash either. This is sort of an amalgamation of... This is kind of, I think, where Marvel was trying to go with the character before they had to remember it was a Thor movie. But
yes.
There was that idea that if you let the Hulk out long enough, he starts to develop language and his own thoughts. And, this was... So, Smart Hulk, Professor Hulk was a whole other thing. It was the Hulk and Banner sort of merging as one, and that was the Professor. There was Doc Green, which was...
Oh, yes.
The Professor Hulk essentially on Extremis, where he decided where he opened up the Book of the Scarlet Witch and said, "This is a great idea," and went, "No more Hulks."
I did not like that.
Oh, I enjoyed that iteration of the Hulk. I really did, because it was literally like 13 issues of him just walking around going, "And you're not a Hulk anymore, and you're not a Hulk, and you're not a Hulk."
That is one issue of today. There are far too many Hulk iterations, but we'll get to that later.
Then, of course, you have the Maestro from from the future Imperfect, which was covered here on Source Material a little ways back.
Another good Hulk story, and so very underrated, but I really enjoyed that one as well.
And you have the Grey Hulk.
Grey Hulk.
Good old Joe Fixit.
Man,
the less said about that, the better.
Yes, I was going to say, sir. I'd say numerous bonfires were created out of those issues, sir. Bag of dicks.
So picture the Hulk with the Thing's personality walking around in a suit in Vegas, and
it purely sucks. I don't know how other way to describe this.
God, those were the dark times before the Empire. So, like I said, I liked this version of the Hulk. This was sort of, to me, pure Hulk, where he could think and he can rationalize, but he had just kind of a shitty, depressed attitude. And, and Greg Pak's run, his interpretation of the character, this whole Planet Hulk, is probably one of the best year-long Hulk storylines of all time.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
it set up Hulk's motivation, man. I mean, the motivation coming into World War Hulk is, seriously, what would you do if someone wiped out your family? You knew who did it.
I would ride on the back of a dragon and light that city up.
You are damn right, sir. You're torching that to the ground, whether your fan base likes it or not. That's it. We're coming, Game of Thrones style.
So let's get into it here. I mean, there's not a whole lot of plot to this, and I think that's the other really fun thing about this. Is a lot of stuff we tend to read on source material. We're like, and then and then the dam broke, and we're like, oh, for fuck's sake. There's a lot of and it made my nose bleed. This is literally one issue after another of him just beating the fuck out of people.
And it's very enjoyable. And who does he start with? Oh, boy, who does he start with? I love it. Carry on. Continue.
That's right. You're the one that hates the Inhumans.
Anyone who listened to the Civil War II podcast we did a while back, listen, I have an unhealthy hatred for the Inhumans. The TV show, the characters, and Black Bolt in general, and boy, does he get his ass handed to him hardcore in this one.
So the Hulk is headed to New York City, where most of the heroes are, but he makes a stop on the moon for gas. And while he's there, he calls out Black Bolt.
Why not? Why not literally? Let's start there.
Now, it turns out this wasn't Black Bolt, if I remember correctly, right?
Yes.
This was some imposter or something like that. Do you remember?
That's what it ended up being. Yeah, he was an imposter. Sadly. Because he did hand his ass to him pretty conveniently, despite Medusa telling him that he could break you with a thought, basically.
Right, and I think he tries to use whatever iteration of those powers he had. The whole thing with Black Bolt is that even if he whispers, he'll send a hurricane, and he tries, and the Hulk just kind of brushes it off. He flies a kite. He doesn't care. And then he just pounds Black Bolt into the dust. And when he gets to Earth, he just sort of throws him on the ground and goes, "This is what I've done to Black Bolt."
I love it. Yeah, here, take your trash. We'll start with this piece of garbage.
You've been warned.
So I really did like that. So I think one of the big things, strong points about this book is they don't hold back on Hulk's powers, man. This is Hulk turned up to 11, man. Like, he starts out, he kicks Black Bolt's ass, he brings it to New York City and throws it in the middle of the road and say, bring me your heroes, basically. So, right away that this is starting out with with an uppercut to the chin, man.
I believe he's most commonly referred to in this era as Worldbreaker Hulk.
Worldbreaker Hulk, indeed.
So he travels to the home of the X-Men, where Professor X, who was absent from the decision to send the Hulk off planet, but admits he would have agreed with the decision, but also tells him he would not have agreed to permanent exile. The Hulk beats up several teams of X-Men, and then battles the Juggernaut, but leaves learning of the M-Day incident, believing that Xavier, you've suffered enough, pal. And I believe this is actually not part of the five issues.
No, it's not.
This is one of the side bits. All right,
but a good one.
Yes. Worth telling the audience about. So then the Hulk returns to Manhattan, and he battles the superhuman operative team, the Gamma Corps, and Ghost Rider. Hulk beats the crap out of Iron Man and destroys Stark Tower in the process, because that's what you do. Then the Hulk and the Warbound defeat the New Avengers, the Mighty Avengers, the multicultural Avengers.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you're calling this the Avengers, man, I don't know. You're digging deep into boots on that one.
Yep, the left-handed Avengers, the four-leaf clover Avengers, the Gemini Avengers. Every team of Avengers got their ass kicked. And he takes out Doc Samson. And I'll tell you, and I got to stop here to talk about this. He beats the ever-loving shit out of the Fantastic Four.
So good.
But I think the one who got it the worst, and I love the artwork on this, was Reed Richards.
Oh my God! When he flattens Reed Richards, the last scene you see of him, like, this guy has been pounded down to like flat rubber. He looks like he has been. Picture a piece of gum that you stretch out so far that it's ready to snap. That's what Reed Richards looked like.
Yeah, he looked like melted chewing gum.
Destroyed. You know what? I really liked that. So I grew up on the Thing versus the Hulk battles. I mean, if you read any Marvel team-ups back in the day, I mean, the Hulk and the Thing fought endlessly over, basically pointless stuff. And to see, like, the big rematch here is, one of the things that he did as soon as he came to New York is, go right for the FF. And, of course, the classic matchup was the Thing versus the Hulk. But guess what? This battle did not last, 24 pages this time. This was very, very short. And he used the classic old wrestling, the ear box, and slapped that guy down, man. He crushed the Thing.
Yeah, he did. So then they all get the obedience discs that were used in the gladiator arenas back on Sakaar that Hulk had on him for a while. He has those, and he uses them on the Illuminati. Specifically, I think in this case, it started with Doctor Strange and... sorry, not Doctor Strange. Tony, Iron Man, and Mr. Fantastic.
I like how they use the term obedience disc, and they avoided restraining bolt. They wanted to say it.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I really liked about this was everyone kind of jumping to like, oh, we can talk to him. We've done this before. This is the old Thor in the movie trying to do the lullaby, and it goes about just as well. But only in this case, taking the place of Thor is She-Hulk, who in the comic books generally could get to Banner, and she had a pretty good relationship there, and she genuinely loved her cousin, and like you could just feel the domestic violence in that exchange.
Oh boy, yeah, he slammed her head first into the pavement, and literally under the pavement she landed. I mean, he crucified this woman.
She tucks her head out from the street and has this look about, but why, sir?
Yep, Hulk paintbrushes that woman. She goes down. Man.
Honestly, I think the next words out of She-Hulk that were edited out of the comic were, "No, I'm sorry I burnt the roast. I'll do better next time."
Yeah, that is one for the parent groups of the day, brother, right there.
Yeah,
Good Lord.
Yeah, she her body went down, her soul went up. So in the next round, now again, I think part of this is was in a different issue because it talks about battling Hercules, Cho, Namora, and Angel, and I think again that was an aside thing. The next thing that happens in the main arc is good old stupid Thunderbolt Ross.
Oh.
Because when the Avengers send in some tanks. That's fine.
They send in some tanks and some helicopters, and like with everything with Thunderbolt Ross, it never works. So this is like the rogues gallery of Hulk, man. I mean, you've got his classic battles, you got Thunderbolt Ross, you're pulling everything out of the ass, man, to get this, and I think it really worked. I mean, you got a quick version of his backstory, his complete history with Rick, with Thunderbolt Ross, with the Thing. I mean, you get the full gambit. If you don't know the Hulk, read World War Hulk, and you get a piece of everything from his relationship with Jennifer, She-Hulk, or whatever, to right on down. I mean, it's a who's who of the Hulk universe, and it's really cool.
Yeah, one of the things about this is there was a Spider-Man trade paperback called The Gauntlet.
Yes,
and if you don't like World War Hulk, that's kind of what this is. This is the Hulk running through a gauntlet of the people who have been close to him and has been a part of his life as the Hulk, and just cutting through them like a hot knife through butter.
Oh boy, does he ever!
So this one reminded me of the actual Incredible Hulk movie where you have the battle on the college campus. Where it's just like they're just trying every weapon against the Hulk, and and then the Marvel Cinematic Universe had a way with the Hulk of underpowering him a bit, which kind of annoyed me. But I guess if they overpowered him, you don't have a movie. So, meh.
Well, here he is genuinely overpowered. This is, like I said, this is Hulk turned up by 11, and he's whipping ass.
Yeah, I think he comes close to pretty much killing Ross. I feel like in the comic it looked like he had killed him, but he'll live to become Red Hulk later on, and that's a whole other story.
They fall out of a helicopter, and they crash towards the ground. And the next scene you see of him, he's actually restrained in part of like the little concentration camp at MSG. So he does survive, but it's an incredible fall. He falls right from his helicopter. Hulk rips him off, and they both plummet to the ground. So I don't know how he survived, but whatever.
So then Doctor Strange decides, let's see, heroes can't defeat him. The army certainly can't defeat him. You know what we haven't tried yet? Fucking demons.
Nom. Or is that what they...
Zom.
Zom, yes, sorry. Jesus.
So Doctor Strange opens up his body to be possessed by Zom, and Hulk continues to beat the fuck out of him, at which point Zom says, they don't pay me enough for this, and he fucks off. And, and leaves Doctor Strange with a pair of broken hands. It's fantastic.
This is my favorite part of this entire... So I'm not a Doctor Strange fan whatsoever. Mm-hmm. I wasn't a big fan of his MCU movie. It was fine. But, man, did I take great pleasure in seeing Hulk crack that guy's hands off, I tell you. Yeah, you know what? Hulk is actually like the sympathetic face in this thing, man. So you got people who, everybody who tries to get on the side is just trying to win him over so they can Pearl Harbor him, basically. Right. So when Doctor Strange pulls, the fast one, impersonating the Sentry, and you have Jennifer trying to weasel him in so somebody can, attack him from behind. And you have, all these other people who are just trying to coddle him enough so they can get the heads up on him. It's about time that he just got the advantage on Doctor Strange and broke that bastard's hand again. So good.
What I really liked about the Hulk Doctor Strange stuff is that Doctor Strange is another one who sort of plays on their history as part of the Defenders.
Yes.
Doctor Strange and Hulk actually have a pretty close history together, and he tries to use that to his advantage, and it goes nowhere. Hulk is seeing red through this whole thing. There's no strategy here. It's literally it's literally him coming to New York and bring me the Illuminati, and that's pretty much as far ahead as he's thought about this.
Well, the thing is that every single time that he starts to listen or whatever, they always betray him. So it's like betrayal. Someone is talking to him nice, and then all of a sudden they try to stab him in the back. And this happens several times over and over. So by the time we get to the end with Sentry, this guy is, he's done with these people. He's going to rip these people a new asshole.
And again, I'm making kind of light of it, but, the one thing that he does want is revenge. This is absolutely a revenge tale on top of all the ass kicking. And it's not, and it's sort of recounting what happened to him when he was on Sakaar, so he makes them all fight each other.
Yes.
He turns Madison Square Garden into a gladiator arena.
Oh, it is great. And the fact that they chose the mecca of sports entertainment to do that was also a genius move, too. The wrestling fan in me was marking out for that one.
Absolutely. So there's some other stuff that's a side story here, but where we really want to go here is... This comes down to here's your WrestleMania main event. It's Sentry versus the Hulk, and here's what you have to know about Sentry. He's fucking crazy. He's
crazy. He's got. What is it? Agoraphobia.
He's got agoraphobia and schizophrenia. So not only is his sort of mind cluttered, possibly having auditory and visual hallucinations, which is classic schizophrenia. It's a disorganization of thoughts. That's why a lot of these people end up being homeless. Is they cannot, without medication and therapy and whatnot, they cannot really get themselves together in most cases. And so you have this guy who's so overpowered. He's retarded overpowered.
Mega overpowered.
And he's half a crazy person. And by the way, he doesn't want to be around people.
So he sits on his couch watching Netflix.
Yeah, he's
taking call after call. Please, Jesus, come save us. And he refuses until the bitter end, when all the cities are destroyed. The Moses is coming with the ark. But when they finally light it up, man, these two have one hell of a battle in issue 5. So if you're looking for a fight book, you got to pick up World War Hulk, man, issue 5. This is one hell of a mudslinger.
Yeah, this is no holds barred Hulk versus the Sentry. And okay, so a couple of things happen next. One, they have this Cation ray, I believe, that they shoot at the Hulk, and that saps some of his energy, and he ends up turning back into Banner. And here's really where the plot thickens. So the whole time this is happening, the war, when they can't reason with the Hulk, they try reasoning with the Warbound, and though they're not listening at all, they're
Absolutely.
just he's our meal ticket. No.
Well, especially Meek.
Well, that's what I wanted to get to. Yeah. So let me get this part out, and then it's all you. So the whole time you have just Meek, just like if Hulk even starts to maybe you're right. Maybe killing everybody is a bad idea. Meek's like, no. You're the world breaker, right? You're the world breaker. These people fucked you. Don't you forget it. They fucked you.
Every time he has a moment of weakness, Meek is there on his shoulder. He's pulling the Sean O'Hare, doing the, come on, everybody's doing it.
Right.
Come on, it's not so bad. Let's do it.
What is it that disturbs you, Banner? So yeah, Meek is just egging him on, and finally, I think, and I forget, refresh my memory here, something happens where the Hulk finally turns a corner, and Meek's just like, and that's why I blew up the ship, essentially.
Yes. So it's his good buddy Rick dies.
Okay.
He's impaled, I think. I think that's what happens to him. And Hulk is all of a sudden sympathizing. And Meek decides to have the classic villain moment where he basically unveils his entire plot and reveals that he's the mastermind behind the explosion back on Sakaar. And, basically the reason why the Hulk has been losing his mind this whole time, he thought, the heroes, were responsible for killing all his family and murdering millions of people, when really it was a member of his own warbound. It's like the ultimate heel turn right at the end of this book here.
So yeah, Rick Jones pushes Banner aside and gets injured, causing Banner to return to Hulk form. As the Hulk attacks the warbound, Meek reveals, "It was me, Bond. I was the author of all your pain."
Gross! What a horrendous line. The author of all your pain.
So I don't know how much "Damn You Hollywood" you've been able to hear, but shortly after, I think it was the last Bond movie where we talked about that line. We have been using it ever since. Whenever there's a stupid reveal like that,
it is the shit. It's like the classic Scooby-Doo ending here, though, I gotta say.
I think the first time we busted it out when we weren't referring to the Bond movie was during Civil War, where it was like, I was the author of all your pain, Tony. It's like, oh, god damn.
Oh, painful.
So, yes, we tend to say that a lot on this network. Anyway, so Meek is the author of all folks' pain. Meek reveals that the explosion that started this whole thing was not caused by the Illuminati, but by the Red King loyalists. Meek chose not to prevent it, hoping the incident would encourage Hulk to keep destroying. And the whole reason why Meek is on about this is I think there was an opportunity in Planet Hulk for Hulk to stop the slaughter of Meek's people, and it doesn't happen for whatever the reasons are. Do you remember?
Yeah, exactly right. So Meek, everyone in Meek's family dies as well. So he loses his family, he loses his planet, everything that he has. So he's using the Hulk as a conduit to extract revenge. So this is why he's sitting on the shoulder, telling them, "Come on, let's kill these people. Don't give them any mercy." You know what I mean? So he's basically using the Hulk to gain measure of revenge on everybody around. So
yeah,
it's like a puppet master, really. That's the game he's playing here.
Right. If he had a dragon, he'd have just lit the city up. But unfortunately,
he has something much better. The Hulk.
So hang on, let me for those of you that are just like, wow, you're really beating that horse to death.
It's almost like people didn't like that episode of Game of Thrones. I'm not sure, Mark. I don't know.
So I don't know if you heard it, but that was a dying horse sound. Anyway.
Are you mad, bro? Are you mad?
All right, so overwhelming rage causes the Hulk to unwillingly radiate energy that threatens the Earth. Stark activates a series of weaponized satellites that open fire on the Hulk, leaving him unconscious in the Banner form. And as Banner, they put him in a cell like 50 feet underground.
Clever. I wonder what'll happen.
Well,
go ahead.
No. So, you would think that that's the last of the Hulk, but I don't remember how long after this that Red Hulk shit starts, and they have to dig the Hulk back out again. And and Banner's like, but for why?
Leave me be under the waters, people. What's wrong with you?
Exactly.
But I'll tell you what, so when we covered Civil War II, one of the big things that I really hated about that thing was how easily they dispatched the Hulk. I mean, Hawkeye hits him with an arrow, kills him dead. If you had killed the Hulk in this particular story arc of World War Hulk, this would have been the perfect Hulk story. I mean, this is how you'd want the Hulk to go out, man, like just an absolute, maniac rampaging Hulk that we've known all these years. And in the end, he redeems himself to save the world and all the heroes. So this would have had the opportunity to be the ultimate, the death of the Incredible Hulk issue right here, man. This would have been an amazing end to the character. But of course, it would be the arrow a little bit down the road, we'll say, that takes out the good old Hulk.
Well, I'm actually okay with shooting Banner in the head with an arrow, but I think the way it needed to be done was, you're right, it's sort of an epilogue to this story. So, instead of just burying him in a cell, 3 miles below the earth, like, lots of luck, pal.
Yeah. Like that ever works? Like locking people away ever works? When does that ever work? Never. Let's put this guy in a cell. Like nobody ever escapes.
Right. I would put the Hulk. In an epilogue, the Hulk goes on trial, and he is found not guilty by reason of insanity. And as he's walking out, then he takes the arrow to the head. And
something like that's a lot better. Yes.
Yeah, and Hawkeye just walks away.
But it was just very inconsequential, in Civil War too. I mean, well, everything's inconsequential in that, but I think that you had a really, really classic Hulk. So, I mean, Planet Hulk established a group of friends. They established a war-bound, the love of his life. Kyra, is that how we pronounce that?
I'm going to go with Kyra.
Kyra, I mean, great relationship. He was the Green King, man. Like this, Hulk was the best Hulk that he ever was, and then all of a sudden it was all taken away. And of course, that opened the doors for World War Hulk, and this was like, man, you think you're my friend? You killed everything that I loved, and I'm coming for your ass. And it was amazing. I'll tell you what, one thing that really confused me, and I don't know where I missed this along the way, was the relationship between the Sentry and the Hulk. Where was that developed? Do you remember?
Not a clue. Honestly, when I read this, I didn't know who the hell the Sentry was, and I'm like, I almost feel like now when Marvel creates a character, they just have a bunch of keywords on a board, they throw 3 darts, and that's the character.
The Sentry seems like an awful plain name, man. See, yeah, exactly. I think the dart that was a dartboard effect there for sure. Oh, the Sentry, that goddamn. And you know what? He looks an awful like I don't know if anyone. This is going to date me a little bit. I don't know if we have any new Universe fans, but that Sentry looks an awful lot like Starbrand there at the end there.
Yeah, he had this weird kind of cross between a superhero and a professional wrestler look to him.
And that ain't a bad thing. He's even wearing the belt with the big S, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe Mick Foley's going to reveal that tonight on Raw.
I hope.
The Sentry title.
No, it's going to be the Fox Network World Championship.
Indeed.
All right, so what comes out of this, though, is eventually we'll go back to Sakaar, and as it turns out, his unborn child will grow up to become, I believe his name is Scar.
Yep.
And Banner and Scar will have their own series for a little while where Banner's kind of running around with Banner Tech. And he's trying to be a dad to this kid. What also comes out of this is that same ray that they used to depower the Hulk for a time is used to create the Red Hulk, and before that, the Red She-Hulk, who was Betty Banner. Spoiler alert. This leads to the Incredible Hulks and World War Hulks, and just a lot. There's a lot of Hulks that really come out of all of this. And for a while, I was big into reading all those stories. I read the World War Hulks storyline, the Fall of the Hulks, and all of that. Yep. I was big into the Red Hulk series for a while, and then this all kind of comes to a head where I don't remember who shot Banner. Banner gets shot in the head. Banner apparently gets taken out in the head a lot.
Well, he gets shot by. He gets shot in this one. It's Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt shoots him in the eye, but he no-sells it before he attempts to kill him. So it's always a shot in the head. I don't know what this guy has in mind here.
Well, during the all new, all different, or it was Marvel Now. During Marvel Now, they had the Indestructible Hulk. Yep. As what I believe it was. And this is the one where basically S.H.I.E.L.D. comes to him and they kind of make a deal. They're like, let him...
Yeah, hey, can you beat up supervillains for me?
Right. It's like, well, I want to be a scientist. Well, we need you to be a wrecking ball. Well, can we meet halfway? And so for good 12 issues or so, and I really like this iteration of the Hulk. It was one of my favorite storylines.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a really good storyline, man.
He was out there, leading a S.H.I.E.L.D. team, building stuff. They were going to other dimensions, and then at the end of it, someone shot him in the fucking head.
Of course,
because the Hulk.
You think by this point he would have a helmet? I'm just saying. I don't know.
But that doesn't kill him. It does make him half retarded, though. made him a bit of an imbecile for a little bit there, and that was the next volume of the Hulk, where where Iron Man. I think this was after the original Sin story, where they revealed that it's like Iron Man's fault that there was an accident that turned him into the Hulk in the first place. So he gets shot in the head, and Iron Man feels obligated to save him after he sent him into space because no one reads their own notes. It's fucking Marvel, man. You're less convoluted than DC, but that's a low bar.
Yeah, shit. We're really sorry we launched you into space and messed up your life for years. Don't worry.
Snort some of this Extremis. You'll feel like a new man. So he gives him the Extremis, and that's what turns him into Doc Green. And as we said before, Doc Green runs around for 13 issues depowering everyone. And then Secret Wars happened. So
boy. That's an episode in itself right there.
Yeah,
and then Hulk pretty well dropped off after Secret Wars.
Yeah, he had a couple of his own series there. There was the one where he is the Future Imperfect had its own series.
Yep.
And then I believe there was another one. There was another because I read both of them. I can't remember which one the other one was. But there were two different Hulk-centric Secret War series that were pretty good. And then I think since then there was the Civil War II storyline, and now he's the Immortal Hulk.
We never talk about Hulk 2099 either. Don't forget that piece of such.
I wasn't aware there was a Hulk 2099.
Oh, my friend. Indeed there was. In a title called 2099 Unlimited, actually, you get the Hulk 2099, and he is not a very good-looking man.
So if you're into the Hulk now, there's the sort of horror-centric Immortal Hulk. I've read the first 5 issues of it, whatever the first trade was, and I was like, okay, sure.
It's out there. It's paper. It's paper, people.
It's definitely a thing. But this is really the event that started it all. Like I said, modern Hulk pretty much comes from this. There's kind of a before Planet Hulk, after Planet Hulk. I think is a good delineation.
I agree. I think Planet Hulk itself laid a lot of ground. I mean, it really, really captured the character. It changed his motivations. He wasn't just Bruce Banner, the scientist who gets mad and all that stuff. It gave him layers. Basically, it was the important part of this entire story, and it also gave him his friends back. So it gave him a reason to leave, reset the deck, and come back stronger than ever. It's like Hulk the reboot. Basically, that's what this is.
Yeah. I definitely think it repurposed the Hulk for a more modern readership.
One thing I didn't like though, and I think you're a fan of the multiple Hulks, but the way I look at that is like, remember when you're heavily involved in watching sitcoms, and your show was on for many years, and then all of a sudden in like the dying seasons you get a cousin involved, and they show up. And you're like, Jesus, I really don't like this character. And then one of the main characters disappears, and they'll bring in another character or even replace the character. And you're like, oh, my God. Then all of a sudden, Bill Cosby's off the Cosby Show. They got someone else doing his character, and it's all done. You know what I mean? It's just, good Lord. And I'm not a fan of multiple characters. So, I mean, you can have Red Hulk, Gray Hulk. You know what? Just keep it one character for me, or even two. I don't even mind Hulk's son. Not a bad deal, but too much. I mean, everything. You take a look at characters today. You got a Superman universe where everybody's superpowered. You've got 150 Batman-style characters. I don't even want to talk about the Spider-Verse. I mean, that was pretty cool, so I'm not going to argue with that. But there's too many copycats. Like, we have the original guys. Do we need to make a She-Hulk, a Guy Hulk, a Black Hulk, a Red Hulk? We don't need this crap. We don't need the cousin on the Cosby Show. We don't.
So, a couple of reactions to that. One, this is why I liked Doc Green. Because it really was kind of a meta, like, we have way too many Hulks.
Yes. It was self-realization.
And look, She-Hulk has been a well-established character. At this point, I feel
I'm not complaining about She-Hulk. I really do like that.
I think you keep She-Hulk around. I pitched a little ways back that they needed to do. So I don't know if you're familiar with Screen Junkies at all.
No.
Okay, so Screen Junkies are the people that brought you honest trailers. Okay,
Oh, yeah. Okay, yes, I do. Absolutely. I 100% know what you're talking about.
So they had a thing with one of their movie fights, and they were like, they were talking about like a possible Hulk movie, and so Dan Murrell pitches the idea of doing a Planet Hulk movie, and then says that's really the only Hulk movie that you can make. Everything else out there, he's too powerful, it's all crap. And then I wanted to throw things and wanted to find this man and beat him senseless. There was a couple of issue run post all of this stuff, post Fall of the Hulks and all of that, where after Betty gets turned into the Red She-Hulk, where she's now like off and free, and this is, I think, after he's taken down Ross, the Red Hulk, and everything. So, sort of the fallout from all of that is there's a Red She-Hulk running loose in the world, and she gets mixed up with, oh gosh, what was the character's name? He's he was like a very powerful like Roman character. Oh lordy.
Oh.
Yes,
I know. It's in this particular arc right here. Oh my god, I can't remember the name.
It's in the Savage Hulk trade paperback. We actually talked about it last summer. I'll look it up in just a second. But basically, the whole arc is called "The Spy Who Smashed Me."
Of course.
And even if you just sort of use the bones of the story, which is essentially that Banner / the Hulk are like James Bond-esque spies. And and She-Hulk is like a Bond girl, and the Bond villain is this character and everything. I'm like, this is awesome. Like you see a completely different. Like I would love to see a Hulk that fully embraces like Banner tech.
Yes, I agree.
So where basically Banner is like this super spy, and he's trying to save Betty from her alter ego, which is the Red She-Hulk, but her Red She-Hulk just wants to, girls just want to have fun.
Oh no! Oh no!
She's out there sowing wild oats, and I pitched that as a movie. I think that would be great.
I do too. So I think when you're talking about Hulk movies, I mean, I was a huge fan of the Incredible Hulk TV series from the 70s, and of course the movies like The Incredible Hulk Returns, Trial of the Incredible Hulk,
sure.
Death of the Incredible Hulk. I mean, I used to tune into that stuff all the time, and I don't think he's really got a fair shake when it comes to his his MCU debuts and all that stuff. Of course, we had the Hulk there with Eric Bana, which was just a disaster. I mean, I don't know if you've ever seen. Have you seen that one? It's just called Hulk.
Oh,
it's not part of the MCU. It's
the
just
Ang Lee one. Yeah, it's horrible.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And of course, then we had the 2008 Incredible Hulk movie with Ed Norton. I mean, that was pretty good, but it still seems disconnected to me. And I always thought that if you could do a Planet Hulk or a World War Hulk, that's the movie that you'd want to make, for the MCU. And they kind of threw that in the garbage with Ragnarok. I mean, you had him there as the Hulk who's there in the pit up on Sakaar and all that stuff. And I mean, you had the opportunity to break out this character, but then all of a sudden it's like, he's my friend from work, and it sort of got funny and giggly woogly, and you sort of threw that away, and I was kind of pissed off with that, honestly. So I always wanted to see a World War Hulk, and taking on Iron Man and doling out justice to crappy characters that I don't like from those series, like I said, Doctor Strange needs a beating, and if you were going to bring out the Inhumans, I was hoping that it was going to be Hulk dealing out some ass kicking on those fuckers too. So a
couple of things. Yeah, one, the villain that I was referring to is Tyrannus. So here's the synopsis for Incredible Hulk's issue 629, which starts this 3-issue run. And the name of this issue is called License to Smash.
Great.
Okay, this isn't a synopsis. This is a line from. Oh, here's the synopsis. In Rome, Tyrannus has control of the Knights of Rome's flying fortress, reclaimed Pandora's box, and has reshaped the fortress into humanoid form so he can kill the Hulk once and for all. Look, that's all I need to know.
Yes, yes, that's literally it.
We have that. We have a She-Hulk that's just like, I don't want to be Betty. I don't want to be Betty Banner or Betty Ross anymore. I want to go have fun. I want to go fuck this Roman guy. It's perfectly fine. It's a hashtag Me Too. It's a new generation. She's a liberated woman. And the Hulk's just like, but Betty, that's what I want to see. The other one, the other Hulk movie I would love for them to do, and I don't know if you're aware of this run, but there was a limited run of Hulks that was where Dr. Doom had essentially split Banner from the Hulk.
Yes. Yeah.
And the Hulk's just kind of, and this wasn't like rampaging, crazy, mindless Hulk. Like, the Hulk basically had his own personality, and it was just never turned back into Banner, and Banner never turned into the Hulk. They were two separate individuals. And so, like, there's a Hulk loose in the world, but this iteration of the Hulk was still of the I just want to be alone variety. So there's like a panel where he's in the woods and he's hunting moose.
Ah, yes, yes.
And then there's another panel where he's fucking hunting shark.
like guys, can you just maintain some semblance of character? Why are you setting fires for other writers that they don't even have a chance to pick up your shit after you torched it?
So I love that. I was just like a Hulk, just kind of alone, just out there in the world doing Hulk stuff. Yes. The question that must be asked: what does a Hulk do when he's not a slave to Banner and his motivations? And the Hulk's just like, I'm just out here. I'm eating shark.
Yes, because all we ever see is he turns into the Hulk and he rampages. You never get to see him if he has some downtime, because always before, if Hulk calmed down, he would just revert back to Banner, and his pants would fall off and he's naked out in the woods, and people are picking him up at the police are chasing him and all this type of stuff. But yeah, what does the Hulk do if the Hulk has downtime? And that's interesting. He hunts moose.
So
shark.
I need if they can ever get the rights back from Universal, if they can finally put an end to this deal that Universal's making no money on, and it's getting them nowhere, I need to see the 5-year period where Banner. He says it in the movie, 18 months in the Gamma Lab. Okay, 18 months isn't 5 years. What if Banner actually freed himself of the Hulk? And this is the storyline. So that's the Hulk, right? He's kind of at peace with himself. He's just like, I'm just a guy in the world hunting moose and shark. Banner actually fucking flips his fucking lid. He just goes nuts. And yes. He's on an island, he becomes Dr. Moreau, basically.
Oof.
Where he's just experimenting on panthers and tigers and shit, trying to make himself the Hulk again, because he realizes he can't live without him. This is the movie I need to see. I need that 5-year period where Banner, after they chop Thanos' head off, spoilers. Yep. If you haven't seen the movie and you're listening to this podcast, I don't know what to tell you.
Someone is going to beat you outside of a theater, Mark, for that comment. Oh, wait. The spoilers have been lifted on this one. Sorry. Go ahead. Spoil away.
So they come home, and Banner goes to trying to rid himself of the Hulk, and he succeeds in separating his body from the Hulk, in whatever way they decide to write it to do it, with a clone or whatever. And then, Banner, who is Mark Ruffalo, realizes that he starts having nightmares, and he's having these psychotic breaks and everything, and he realizes that he essentially split part of his own personality from himself. He says, this is what I fucking hated about Endgame. It was such a throwaway line. He was just 18 months in the Gamma Lab, I put the brains with the brawn.
Yes, I know. And they sort of took his character in a direction in this one where it's sort of I don't know what kind of a hybrid Hulk they made there, because he's smart Hulk, and he's totally in control of his character, yet he still is able to to bring the rage when he needs to. So it's sort of I don't know how you get out of this dust trap here.
Yeah, he's steroided up fucking. He's Mark Ruffalo on gas, is what he is.
Yes.
So anyway, So yeah, I want to see the movie where Mark Ruffalo is just like having like night terrors and shit, and realizes I have to bring the Hulk back.
Yes,
and that's the reconciliation we didn't see on screen. Now we have two characters, and he has to actually go to the Hulk, who's just like, no, I fucking hate you. You just use me as a weapon. Like, let the Hulk say those words on screen.
Yeah, man, that would be amazing, and I think that is the right direction, because I think they sort of left Hulk with his, out of all the characters, they wrote every person with basically what I consider a perfect ending for pretty well all the characters, except for the Hulk. Hulk is just left with his, his stupid Mark Ruffalo, intelligent, hanging out at the lab type Hulk, and that's not the one we want to see, man. We want to see the ass kicker. We want to see World War Hulk, That's what we want to see, man.
Yeah, I don't know why they turned him into Dr. Doolittle, but that's kind of what
that's
happened.
Exactly what he is. And, I mean, there were parts of the movie that really worked. I mean, take, for example, when they flash back to, the first Avengers, and they wanted Hulk raging, when all the characters were coming down, and he had to sort of, like, make out that he was angry, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I mean, there was some humor in that, you know what I mean? It's being in jest, but... I don't know. You're exactly right. You sort of got to break the character down. You got to tear out everything that makes him what he is right now, separate it, and you got to reboot it from scratch. And separating the two characters is exactly what's needed there.
So I want to see a prequel-ish Hulk movie where we get to see how he got to be essentially this iteration of Professor Hulk. But I think we're due for an Avengers World War Hulk story.
But how do you do it now? So if they've already established, some sort of ground in Ragnarok, so how do you go back? I guess you can go back. Yeah, I guess you can. But I mean, Endgame sort of fucked it up.
You got to kill Betty. I mean, I think
exactly.
But I think you got to kill Betty in a really creative way. Like, I think you have to bring. Let's bring back some of the characters from the Incredible Hulk. Let's bring Betty back. Let's bring back the leader. And then let's do the Hulk storyline, part of it at least, where Ross basically kidnaps his own daughter, and him and the leader experiment on her and turn her into Red She-Hulk as the precursor to turning him into Red Hulk. And there's your movie.
Yeah, nailed. Perfect. That is literally your movie. That would restore the Hulk, man. That's exactly what needs to happen. But I think Endgame sort of burned some bridges and burned opportunity that we could have had this movie. We could have had World War Hulk on screen eventually, and we took a wrong turn at Albuquerque, like you said. Mm-hmm. And I think you just got a good back door, my friend.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been pitching ideas to Marvel for a while now.
Oh boy! And you know what? They need all the help you can get. Are you listening, Marvel? Mr. Radlich has a great idea here.
We often joke that because there was a run where, like, I would say something on a podcast, and like months later or even weeks, we'd see it on Facebook, and like, oh, clearly someone's listening in Hollywood. So we theorize that there's a unpaid intern who listens to our podcast and steals the ideas and pitches them to Greater Hollywood. So again, Kevin Feige, I gave you two Hulk movies, and then again, we've already decided that Galactus and Annihilus need to be the big bads in Phase 4 and 5, but in your Age of Ultron-ish movie, World War Hulk. Let's give him back Betty, and then take her away. And they took away the Scarlet Witch. They took away Black Widow. So, and just leave him with nothing and have him decide, that's it, everyone has to die.
Well, I think another trick with the entire Endgame thing is that you're playing with time as well. So you can reverse or screw up or do anything you want. So that could be the back door to make sure that Planet Hulk actually happens, the way it's meant to be. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. They could literally screw up every single timeline. You could have that iteration of the Hulk come back and even take on this new shitty version of him here in Endgame. Who knows? But I tell you what, I would love to see the Warbound on screen, man. That would be amazing. Like I mean, they're on there now, of course, but in full World War Hulk style, man, that would be unbelievable.
Yeah, I don't even know how you would do that now. That's the one part where I really do feel like the door was sort of shut. Like if they wanted to go back and do just the Planet Hulk stuff up until the point where Thor shows up. I mean, that's fine, and to see Hulk take that journey for however long that was. But I don't think you could. I don't think you could do it with the. You'd have to do the Warbound a different way. You
would, yes, because right now there was basically comedy characters. I mean, Ragnarok is. And you know what? It needed that. That Thor series, man, I'm telling you right now, after Dark World, they needed a shot in the pants. And I'm glad that they went like a semi-comedic route with it, honestly. I'm sure people hate me saying that, but I thought Ragnarok was a fun time at the theater. And but I think it's totally screwed up the World War Hulk thing. But at the time, I didn't mind. I was loving that movie coming out.
Yeah. You can absolutely get to a World War Hulk movie. What you can't do what I feel like you can't do is a real literal interpretation of Planet Hulk at this point. You can absolutely do kind of a Contest of Champions / Planet Hulk movie, that where at the end of it he becomes Hulk Hogan. That's fine, but yeah, I think the Warbound, you'd almost have to send him back into space to a different planet again. Or the other thing which happened in the Hulk continuum is, I don't know if you remember this, but the Hulk had a different chick for a while. Jarella, I think her name was, when he was in the Microverse. Yeah. So maybe, I don't know, maybe he's doing something with Pym, and they shrink him down, and he ends up in the Microverse there, and we kill yet another one of the Hulk's girlfriends.
And you thought you had woman problems, brother.
Hulk fridging girls for over 20 years.
I was just going to say, nobody's. I don't know. He's got a bad record of spouses. Man, this guy's brutal.
Yep.
Do you remember? I'll tell you one thing I remember. I remember one of the early Hulk stories, and you're speaking of, like, I know you brought up Contest of Champions. Nobody ever brings up, and probably rightfully so, do you remember Quest Probe?
No, I have no idea what that is.
Oh, dear God. Well, I won't get into it. But basically, Quest Probe was like a series of games, like 3 games called Quest Probe, but they made a series out of it. And anyway, for deep cut fans, check out Hulk and Quest Probe back in the day.
I will.
Tell them Hero sent you, and don't get mad at me when you hate it.
All right, Chris Bailey, go ahead, and I think we've sufficiently used up enough time on this podcast. Like I said, World War Hulk is pretty straightforward, but it's fantastic, especially if you're a Hulk fan. I hope you've enjoyed us fanficking our own movies. That's always a fun time on the Rattlevision Broadcasting Network. Go ahead and plug your stuff, buddy.
All right, you can hook me up on the Twitter. I am at Charlton_Hero. As well, I have my own little blog going on. It's called The Superhero Satellite over on WordPress. And if you like retro things like I do, if you like comic books, wrestling, like myself and Mark, then that is the place to go for all your retro needs. And of course, I'm always hanging out here, just waiting for Mark and Jesse to call me and say, "Hey, bring me out of retirement, brother."
Well, you'll get to hear the dulcet tones of Mr. Chris Bailey. Sunday. We say everything 3 times. On May 26th, as we review, we're going to have a TV party for AEW Double or Nothing.
Oh, boy.
Go ahead and check that out. Again, you were supposed to get Blood Ties today, but Jesse had some things to take care of, so you'll get it next week. But speaking of declaring world war on people, tomorrow on Damn You Hollywood, John Wick 3 Parabellum.
Oh, boy.
A movie that started off okay, and by the end of it, I was like, you know what? Age of Extinction made more sense to me.
Really? I haven't seen it yet, so don't spoil it, but I love John Wick 1 and 2.
Like I said, it starts off really, really good and really, really strong, and then towards the third act, things start to take a bit of a dive, and then the last 5 minutes are so stupid they should be studied.
No.
But we're getting John Wick 4 in 2021, so that's a thing.
Just tell me one thing, and one thing I'll ask you.
Yes, sir.
They don't kill his dog again, do they? Please, no.
Let's go see the movie.
Oh, damn it, no! Damn you people. Damn you, Hollywood.
Indeed. So that is Damn You Hollywood. On Wednesday, Jesse will be back, and we'll be just doing the new folk metal extraordinaire Illuminati, their new album. And then we're cracking out the old Long Road to Ruin on Thursday. We're going to talk about the first 2 John Wick movies. First one I really enjoyed. The second one bored me to fucking tears. Like, even with the CPAP machine, I was so bored I started to doze off. Take that, John Wick fans.
Oh, my God.
And then on a special Friday episode of the TV Party Tonight, myself, Robert Winfrey, if he's still talking to me by then, and Pat Mullen, Mr. Toxic Masculinity, we'll be reviewing Extremely Wicked and Shockingly Evil and Vile. This is the Zac Efron take on Ted Bundy, starring the inimitable Jim Parsons.
Oh, boy. You know what? I
Yes,
really enjoyed that movie. Or the Netflix movie, I should say. But as soon as I saw Jim Parsons as the lawyer, I was out of the game. I did not buy it for 2 seconds. I thought it was Sheldon from Big Bang Theory the entire time. You talk about a guy who's typecast. Jim Parsons is Sheldon forever.
Have you seen Hidden Figures? Because in that one, he's Sheldon but racist.
Oh, Jesus. No, I'm going to go. You know what? I'm just going to go check that out right after this podcast. Oh, racist Sheldon. It's new. It's a new spin-off. So he has young Sheldon, now racist Sheldon. Oh.
That's right. And the next Satan worshipping Sheldon and vegan Sheldon. All on CBS. It's a block of Sheldon. On this coming Memorial Day, you'll get that Blood Tie show I promised you. Then the Damn You Hollywood for the Aladdin live-action film. May 29th, the new Sworn Enemy. Myself and Alexis Hana, and I believe David Wright, will be discussing the entire Game of Thrones series and focusing mostly on the last season, and you bunch of big fat baby fans. You dumb fans, you. You know nothing of... You know nothing of...
cities, no.
You know nothing of fantasy.
This is, you know what? I swear to God, Vince McMahon is writing Game of Thrones, man. He's just saying, you're gonna get Roman Reigns, and I don't even care. That's what's going on.
Well, I don't know if you saw the finale, but Bran was actually holding a Money in the Bank contract at the end.
With his Starbucks cup right on the side, just to piss people off.
Yeah, so he had a Money in the Bank suitcase in one hand and a Starbucks in the other. And I'm pretty sure he wasn't wearing any pants.
Oh, boy.
And then Saturday, finally, our last plug of the night here, myself and Pat Mullen, and probably Robert Winfrey, will be doing some boxing commentary for the real World Heavyweight Champion, Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz Jr. on DAZN. Makes like calzone, but it's actually DAZN. All right, Chris Bailey, it was a joy and a pleasure. We must do this again sometime.
Absolutely, my friend. We'll get some wrestling next time. AEW, can't wait.
Yes. All right, because the Hulk is the god of violence, here's some more creative for your ass. This is Gods of Violence taking us out. Good night. And
good night, everybody.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. 30% of Americans who are planning home improvements of $5,000 or more will pay for those renovations with a high-interest credit card. That may not be a great idea. A better idea may be to take cash out of your home with a Quicken Loans 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. The rate today on our 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 4.375%. APR 4.65%. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to rocketmortgage.com.
Rate subject to change. Pay 2.13% fee to receive this discounted rate. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. License in all 50 states. NMLS number 3030.
Hi, it's Jamie, Progressive's number 2 employee. Leave a message at the... Hey, Jamie, it's me, Jamie. This is your daily pep talk. I know it's been rough going ever since people found out about your a cappella group, Mad Harmony, but you will bounce back. I mean, you're the guy always helping people find coverage options with the Name Your Price tool. It should be you giving me the pep talk. Now get out there, hit that high note, and take Mad Harmony all the way to nationals this year! Sorry, it's pitchy.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.